Hi everybody, good evening. We're in the middle of a bit of a thunderstorm here in Madison, and I'm going to do three songs, my three favorite songs from Malvina Reynolds. She lived from 1900 to 1978 and spent most of her life in Berkeley, California. First song is called If You Love Me. It's a very short song, a very sweet song. I'm going to do it twice so that the second time you can all sing it with me because you'll know it by then. So. If you love me, if you love me, plant a rose for me. And if you think you're gonna love me for a long, long time, plant an apple tree. The sun will shine, the wind will blow, the rain will fall, and the tree will grow. And whether you comes and whether you goes, I'll have an apple and I'll have a rose, lovely to bite and nice to my nose, and every juicy nibble will be a sweet reminder of the time you loved me and planted a rose for me and an apple tree. Now you can sing it with me. If you love me, if you love me, plant a rose for me. And if you think you're gonna love me for a long, long time, plant an apple tree. The sun will shine, the wind will blow, the rain will fall, and the tree will grow. And whether you comes or whether you goes, I'll have an apple and I'll have a rose, lovely to bite and nice to my nose, and every juicy nibble will be a sweet reminder of the time you loved me and planted a rose for me and an apple tree and an apple tree. If You Love Me by Malvina Reynolds. She only became a songwriter and a folk singer late in life. She got a PhD, and I couldn't tell from Wikipedia if it was English or music theory from the University of California at Berkeley. And she didn't start writing songs till she was in her 40s. Legend has it that once she became a songwriter, she was very committed, and the legend is that she wrote a song a day, I've heard, for the rest of her life or for the next 10 years or various things. So either way, it adds up to hundreds, maybe thousands of songs that she's written. Many of them are still popular amongst folk musicians today. She was a feminist, she was anti-militarist, she was anti-racist, she was very progressive and funny and thoughtful, and I think she'd be probably a wonderful person to hang out with. Never got to hear her perform. The next song, a lot of people consider a children's song. It's the first Malvina Reynolds song I ever learned. It's called Magic Penny, and it's got a great message. It's all about love, and that love is better than money, which we all know. And we sure need a lot of love right now to heal our country, and all my love goes out to all the people out protesting and fighting for democracy and against racism, and to try to make things better in our country and our world. All right, so I grew up in the Quaker tradition in the Friends meeting, so I'm guessing this is probably a song that I learned, in that realm. So, love is something if you give it away, give it away, give it away. Love is something if you give it away, you'll end up having more. It's just like a magic penny, hold it tight and you won't have any. Blend it, spend it, and you'll have so many, they'll roll all over the floor. Love is something if you give it away, give it away, give it away. Love is something, if you give it away, you'll end up having more. Money's dandy and we like to use it, but love is better if you don't refuse it. It's a treasure and you'll never lose it unless you lock up your door. Love is something, if you give it away, give it away, give it away. Love is something, if you give it away, you'll end up having more. Let's go dance until the break of day. If there's a piper, then we will pay. Love is something, if you give it away, you'll end up having more. Love is something, if you give it away, give it away, give it away. Love is something, if you give it away, you'll end up having more. It's just like a magic penny, hold it tight and you won't have any. Lend it, spend it, and you'll have so many, they'll roll all over the floor. Oh my God. There's the magic pennies. Alrighty. I think Malvina would appreciate that because she had a sense of humor. So, the next song I'm going to do is by far her most famous. It's called Little Boxes. Pete Seeger did a famous version of it. She wrote it about a place in the Bay Area called Daly City. It's south of San Francisco, and the iconic image of these houses that all were identical except they had different colors. I lived in Berkeley when I was 11 years old for a semester, the fall semester, while my dad was working at the University of California. We lived in Berkeley, right at the base of the hills, 1937 Capistrano Avenue, I still remember. And I'm 11 years old, and I'm kind of nerdy, and I'm really excited because BART, the Bay Area Rapid Transit, had started 2 years earlier, but they had just finished the tunnel, the Bay, Cross Bay Tube, Trans Bay Tube, I think they called it. We moved there, I think, at the end of August in 1974, and I just looked it up. It was the middle of September when they opened the route that went across. So not too long after, we had a day off school. BART didn't run on Saturdays and Sundays then, so I had to do it on a weekday. I decided that I was going to ride the entire length of the system, and I was going to game the system by only paying to go from one stop to the next stop. And so I would go the entire length of the system and then just get off at the next stop and be fine. And so I rode all the way up to Richmond, all the way up to Concord, all the way down to Fremont, then through the Trans Tunnel over to San Francisco, all the way down to Daly City. I do remember when I got off at Daly City and the train had stopped and everybody had gotten off and I was still sitting there. The conductor kind of looked at me and maybe asked me a few questions. I can't remember. If I remember right, I probably just packed a lunch. I only had enough money to pay the fare, which was like $1.10 or something like that. And the story ends up a little like Charlie on the MTA because I had been on the train so long that it got into rush hour and the rate structure had changed. And so when I got off, there was like the Berkeley and the North Berkeley station. I got off at the right one. I couldn't get off. The turnstile wouldn't accept my ticket, wouldn't let me out. And there's no cell phones. I'm freaking out. I have no money. I'm 11 years old, and I can't get off the train. Finally, a nice conductor let me out, and I made it home. But that was my adventure in Daly City. So this is Malvina Reynolds' story about Daly City, Little Boxes. So. Boxes on the hillside, little boxes made of ticky-tacky, little boxes, all the same. There's a green one, and a pink one, and a blue one, and a yellow one, and they're all just the same. And the people in the houses all go to the university where they are put in boxes and they all come out the same. They're doctors and lawyers, business executives, and they're all made out of ticky-tacky and they all look just the same. And they all play on the golf course and drink their martinis dry, and they all have pretty children, and the children go to school, and the children go to summer camp, and then to the university where they are put in boxes and they come out all the same. And the boys go into business and marry and raise a family in little boxes, little boxes, little boxes, all the same. There's a green one and a pink one and a blue one and a yellow one, and they're all made out of ticky-tacky and they all look just the same. Little boxes, little boxes. Little boxes, and they all are just the same. Little Boxes by Malvina Reynolds. Great song. She has so many other wonderful songs. I may end up choosing her again, but I was only doing 3 for tonight. I picked my top 3 favorites. Those of you who are in Madison and listen to WRT may know that Mel and Floyd, when they have their show on Fridays with Mr. Smarty Pants, I believe it's Mr. Smarty Pants' daughter is named Malvina, and she often guest hosts and sits in on the show. I don't know if she's named after Malvina Reynolds, but it's a pretty unusual name. So, all right, wonderful songwriter, wonderful person, and great songs. I hope you all have a great evening, and I'll see you again in a few days. The next show I'm going to do is the gospel songs of Albert Brumley, who most famously wrote I'll Fly Away.